In the early morning, when the moon shone as bright as the sun, it formed a spotlight appearance from within the opaque clouds. An eerie impression was in the air at 2:30 a.m. in the morning. A black, stretched limo pulled up to the sidewalk. Roughly 30 steps from the beginning of the sidewalk to the entrance doors laid a dark red carpet. 2 large Gothic owl sculptures the size of a 5-year-old child were posted at the walk's carpet entrance. The driver of the limo opened the car door. The air was still. A young girl came out of the limo. She put her hand across her chest to feel her heartbeat. She took deep breaths, calming down her heart rate. She looked down at the beautiful black and gray owl statues. A cool wind caressed the back of her neck. It made her straighten up her posture as she walked towards the surreptitious entrance. She looked beyond everything and saw a grand hotel. 2 tall pillar statues were alongside the entrance doors. The design on the door was black and white checkerboard. The doorman wore a black suit with a white shirt and a black see-through band around his eyes. He had one pant leg pulled up to his knee and smiled when he saw the young girl walking towards his way. She could feel little streams of sweat from her hairline fall down the back of her neck. Aria's doll-like big brown beautiful eyes peered through an elegant white and black feathered mask. It covered half of her face, exposing her pouty big red lips. She looked upon the majestic hotel that captivated her eyes. Her ombre chocolate and gray hair was straight. Aria looked down at her fitted white dress to make sure it looked right. She licked her lips before she spoke to the doorman waiting outside.
Hello. This is my first time here. What are the rules for this engagement?
The gentleman took her hand and kissed it.
There is only one rule.
What's that?
You never take the mask off.
He smiled and added,
I hope you win.
She walked past him. He looked down at his watch and tapped on it. It had stopped working. Aria felt unease about the way he had spoken to her. She hesitated before opening the door. However, she opened the door and walked through. There was no turning back. She knew that it was important to attend this gala event. This was not for the public. There were no photographers around the red carpet. This secret event was a private elite club. She had closed the entrance door behind her. She saw a light smog in the air. There was a live instrumental band playing. A violinist was playing as she walked around. It was a crowded event. Everyone wore a mask. The open room was huge. Dark Gothic furniture surrounded the room. Paintings of disturbing, deathly concepts were spread across the walls. It was as if walking in an art gala. The masks that everyone wore looked terrifying. Some had horns. Some looked like hideous creations from a horror movie. They all gawked at her, like annihilating a prey. As she walked around the room, she felt that perhaps she had been late. She had thought, why is everyone dressed in red and black? I was told to only wear white. Abruptly, she felt a cold hand touch her shoulder. She jolted back. A woman, dressed in a red dress, who wore a big gold ring on her finger, a symbol of a goat head, smiled and pulled her close. She whispered in Aria's ear.
Oh, little sheep, we are so glad that you came. It's a perfect night for a sacrifice.
Aria quivered by her comment.
What is that supposed to mean?
The woman in the red dress said.
Butterfly.
Aria couldn't move. The word precipitously struck her still. She knew she had been in this mental state before. No control to speak or move. As a prisoner trapped within her own body, like a doll, she waited for the woman to speak in order for her to move. A little tear fell from her eye, knowing that whatever would happen, she would not have any control. The woman spoke.
Come with me.
The woman took her hand and led her to the middle of the room. Everyone gathered around, forming a large, crowded circle. Even though Aria didn't have control, she was consciously aware of what was happening. A tall, thin man stood in front of her. They became the focal point. The mysterious woman in the red dress summoned with her hand for a waiter to come towards them. The waiter came with a tray in his hand, on which only 2 gold-plated Glock 28 guns were displayed. Arya could see that the man in front of her was dressed in an all-white suit. He couldn't move either. His cold brown eyes were covered with a black mask. The woman in the red dress spoke.
Please, each of you take a gun and point it to the side of your head. There is 1 bullet in each of your guns. We will see who will win.
Arya's body complied at her command. She took the gun and pointed it to her temple. The man in front of her did the same thing. The woman in the red dress looked down at her watch. It had stopped working. It read 3 a.m., she said.
On the count of 3, you will both pull the trigger.
The instrumental band continued to play. The sound of the music made everyone feel on edge, waiting to see who would live or die. Evil eyes appeared through atrocious masks, oogling at them both. The woman in the red dress spoke.
1, 2,
A smirk appeared on her lips.
3.
The music stopped. No one was dead. The woman in the red dress had an evil smile. She enjoyed the rush of adrenaline in her body watching the 2 of them. She exhaled, calming the blood rush.
Let's do it again.
Music played, and she counted down to 3. Once again, no bullets were unleashed. Arya felt horrified inside. Trapped, every moment she thought would be her last. Hearing her count down, Arya could hear her heartbeat raise higher and higher. On the count of 3, a lifeless body fell before Arya. She could hear everyone cheer and clap. Her frozen doll-like body stood still. The man, lying on the floor with oozing blood around his head, was dead. She saw he had a tattoo on the inside of his wrist. It was a symbol of an eye.